Once the purpose, scope, and objectives have been established in the design and development phase of exercise planning, the exercise planning team should select and develop a scenario. This video will discuss what a scenario is, elements involved in designing a scenario, how to write a scenario, and additional considerations. Scenario. A scenario is a model or outline of the simulated sequence of events unique to each exercise that drives participant discussion or actions within the exercise. A scenario provides a story element and keeps an exercise focused and well-defined, providing an opportunity for players to meet exercise objectives and validate capabilities. A scenario should be realistic, plausible, and challenging without overwhelming players. Scenario elements. Elements from the exercise purpose, scope, and objectives should be considered when developing a scenario. The purpose of the exercise defines why an exercise should be conducted. This information can be derived from sources including senior leadership guidance, threat, hazard, and risk assessments, after-action reports or improvement plans, external requirements, and any existing plans, policies, or procedures. The scope of the exercise determines the complexity of the scenario and what elements may be needed to enhance realism during conduct, such as weather modeling to understand the impacts of weather on a hazmat incident. The scope also includes assumptions and artificialities that allow exercises to be conducted based on time and available resources. Exercise objectives guide key events and conditions, allowing the scenario to provide an opportunity to evaluate the chosen objectives through player actions. How to write a scenario. Scenarios consist of three core elements: the general context or narrative, the conditions within the exercise in which players must operate, and the technical details needed to accurately depict the scenario. Let's discuss these elements further. The general context or narrative is a brief description or story summarizing the events of the exercise. This can be written as a narrative or structured as a timeline and sets the stage for future events. A scenario should be focused and only use information needed to support the exercise objectives. During Central City's hazmat exercise, the narrative is that a truck carrying a hazardous substance is in an accident that causes the substance to leak, threatening the safety of the population and environment. The conditions within the exercise can also be thought of as problems requiring action. These conditions will drive discussion, challenge participants, and trigger action or activities. Conditions can often be used in scenario updates within the situation manual for discussion-based exercises or as additional injects during an operations-based exercise. The size of the hazmat spill, population demographics, and the time and location of the spill are all conditions that will need to be considered. The technical details needed to accurately depict the scenario include supporting information, maps, and charts that show conditions to support decision-making. Technical details are often found in the ground truth document as a result of modeling and simulation. The type and effects of the hazardous material, buildings, or businesses within the plume model or the weather forecast are examples of technical details that will enhance exercise realism. To begin writing the scenario, you can create an outline by jotting down short responses to the following questions. What event? How fast, strong, deep, or dangerous is the threat? How was the event discovered? What happened leading up to the event? What is the expected response? What damage was reported? What is the sequence of events? What time did it happen? Was there an advance warning? Where does it take place? What are the relevant weather conditions? What other factors influence emergency procedures? What is predicted for the future? What will happen after the event? Who is affected? A well-put-together scenario provides the necessary parameters to focus an exercise and help meet specific objectives. With this information, you are now well-equipped to develop an effective scenario. Good luck!